So having lost a couple days to the whole sub pump nonsense, snaking, all that, we are now finally turning our attention to the very first item on this here list, which is concreting the French drain. And the very first step in that process is taking more metal out of the basement. I am not entirely sure how it's possible that we've been at this house for literal months, like going on a year, and we're still pulling metal out of the basement, even after already having pulled 4 tons of metal out of the basement. Still more? Yeah. The shell? Want to bring a shell?
Yeah, but come down. Burrito. One more burrito.
Oh my god, there's another one?
Yeah?
We have so much metal down here, I've lost track.
This
You're not gonna keep the dial?
we can.
What is?
Danger.
It's kind of funny. I feel like, imagine that set above your toilet or something. It's kind of fun.
Doesn't seem to be working, but
Oh, sure it's not. For aesthetic. It's kind of fun. We'll hang on to it for now. Let's go put the money in Money Pit.
and the rest is either cast or
no idea if I caught that or not, but alright, let's go see how much money we're gonna make. Oh, that's so backlit. Money.
you have the paper?
And the grand total?
$26.80.
$26.80.
So we can divide the bills like this.
Rude.
And you get the coins too.
Oh.
There you go. That seems fair.
Rude. Okay, so yesterday got completely derailed, which I guess shouldn't be that big of a surprise, but we kind of did the classic, you know, oh, while we're out, we probably need to swing by the hardware store again. And then when they didn't have exactly what we needed, then we had to swing by a second hardware store. And then we were like, oh, while we're out, maybe we should also swing by the thrift store. And then we got home and we have to exercise the dog. And yeah, was just a complete wash. So we're back again today with the same goal that we had originally yesterday, which is to finish concreting the French drain. But I will say one thing did happen off camera late last night, and that is, very exciting news, we now have light in the basement. So now that we have light down here, you guys can finally get a look at this hunkin' piece of metal down here, which is leftover oil tank of some sort. And the fainting couch is still with us. I know some of you guys have asked about it. It is still here, it is still intact, and it is not too moldy. We've just been shuffling it around the basement, but yeah, that's gonna be fun to get out of here. Shouldn't be that bad. Honestly, it's gonna be easier than all those furnaces.
Yeah, we're gonna chop it. Chop, 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 chop.
And that means that I can officially check that off the list. It is the squeaky one. Ta-da! Okay, so today, back onto this one for today. Huzzah! Woo, 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 woo. So, game plan? Delta board? So we're once again plagued by the missing iPhone footage because I have zero video of us installing this. But if you'll remember, first we dug the trench for the drain, and then we lined it with geotextile fabric. We installed the perf pipe, and then we topped it up with gravel. And now what we've done is we've folded the extra fabric over the whole bundle, making a sort of burrito of drainage. And over that is where we laid our Delta board. That's this dimpled brown plastic here, and that's going to allow the foundation wall to breathe and evacuate its humidity into the French drain. So any water that seeps through the stones will be able to drain out rather than staying trapped in there and deteriorating the foundation. And then on top of that, to kind of bridge the gap, we've also laid a vapor barrier to stop the diffusion of water through the concrete we'll be adding. So the current concrete mixing plan, because if you'll remember, we have approximately 40 bags of concrete we need to mix up. And the plan to do that is this right here, a giant Tupperware and a rake. Because that's what we saw online on YouTube. And we decided of all the methods out there, let's go with this one because it means we're not going to have to buy anything. We've got a rake. We've got tons of plastic Tupperwares laying around the house. Well, fun fact, because we dropped the big boy bucks on a really nice, high quality, sturdy rake, it's too big to fit in any of the Tupperwares we have here, in any of the Tupperwares in all of the hardware stores, in all of the nation. So in the end, we had to go out and drop some more money to buy a shitty, cheap little rake because this one is like skinny enough that it's gonna fit inside the bins we have on hand, the bins that exist in the whole wide world. So if we're lucky, we're gonna finish the basement and end up with 2 usable rakes, but honestly, this one was only $20 and it looks like it wants to break if I stare at it too hard, so my hopes are not high. Anyways, let's go mix some concrete. Oh, yo, yo. Probably should not leave that there. Someone will inevitably hurt themselves on it. Much better.
That's 1.7.
Now, neither of us have mixed a whole lot of concrete in our lives, so at least for this first batch, we're following the instructions to a T. We're adding exactly as much water as it tells us, and then going forward, we can adjust the ratios if we need.
And 1.2, so a bit more than that. Yeah?
Again, we don't have any footage of this, but we ran out and filled my matrix with as many concrete bags as it could safely handle, which in this case was 15. And we hoped that that would be at least enough for us to finish this side of the French drain.
Ooh, that's why we have that.
So we don't know if it's too dry. It looks kind of dry, but when we play with it, it kind of finishes and the water goes back up. So we're gonna try this consistency and adjust the next batch if it's not good.
So you might have noticed that that vapor barrier kind of shifted to the side when we poured the concrete in, and we did try to put it back in place as we went. We wanted to butt it up against the original concrete slab as much as possible, but we also weren't going to go crazy with it either, because honestly, it's not like any of the rest of the slab anywhere else in the basement has any vapor barrier, so, you know, pick your battles.
We'll add some in the back. So that's 3 bags.
Yeah.
6. I think we're gonna have enough to do that section here. Juste comme ça. Jusqu'ici, mettons. Là.
The back looks better.
Now, as it turns out, it takes me about as long to mix up a bag of concrete as it takes Phil to lay it down, which was actually pretty handy. I could focus on mixing it, and he could focus on installing it, and our natural rhythms allowed us to have a pretty good and steady workflow. Having this spigot installed was so handy. It was such a lifesaver, not having to walk up and down a flight of stairs to get water for every single concrete bag we needed to mix up, which in the end, I think it was something like 45 bags. So just imagine how many stairs that would have been. Such good timing to install that spigot. Wow, I am so tired and so dirty, but it looks really, really good. I'm super glad that we did it. We got this side done today. We're gonna wait to continue the other side because I am pooped and I need a snack and a shower, maybe a nap, so I have a lot of other things to say, I'm sure, but not right now, so. Signing off for today. See you tomorrow. Good morning, friends. Coming to you with some wicked mask face because we've already been at work for a few hours today getting ready to do the pour down here. So first we had to go out and get a whole bunch of concrete, and then we just cleaned up around this whole trench area, you know, vacuumed, swept, made sure there was no extra debris floating around. We had to take down the stairs because of course they are right in the way of where our French drain runs. And while we did that, we actually noticed that when they did the previous pour for the concrete, they did not move the stairs. There's a clear hole where the leg from the stairs had been, and that probably explains why they are rotting out and we had to replace them, because they were just sitting right on a bunch of humid earth. Anyway, we also laid down all of our Delta board and our vapor barrier, and yeah, we're basically ready to start pouring some concrete. We do have a little bit of a different technique for today that we're going to try. Don't know if it'll be any easier, but we thought nothing to lose because yesterday was really hard. So let's try this new technique. And that new technique involved this puppy. By day 2, we were really on a roll. We'd figured out techniques that we liked. We knew which consistency of concrete we preferred to work with, and the learning curve had kind of leveled out and we were free to just work efficiently and hard. Now, this is essentially the final iteration of my perfected concrete mixing technique here. It's definitely a little bit strange, but it's what I found that I like to work with. So I used the trowel and a metal bar to split each concrete bag in half because I preferred to mix it up one half at a time. So I'd mix the first half with basically all of the water. I would get it nice and soupy. It was really easy to mix together homogeneously, and then I would add the second half of the bag, give it a nice thorough mix, and then I could pass it off to Phil, who by now had also developed several techniques that he found useful and efficient for installing the concrete. Now, rather than both of us trying to learn and perfect all parts of the process, we decided to divide and conquer. So I was in charge of mixing the concrete, while Phil was in charge of distributing it. Basically, this is the role that we had sort of naturally fallen into right at the start, and we were both comfortable in those roles, so we just stuck with it and got better at them. An interesting challenge was trying to blend the new concrete into the existing slab. Now, this looks like a very old and definitely hand-poured slab. It's lumpy, it's of different thicknesses depending on where in the basement you are. There are chunks of it that are just completely missing and it's just exposed raw dirt. And honestly, it wouldn't be the worst idea to completely redo it at some point down the line, you know, with a proper vapor barrier all around and everything. But that doesn't mean that we didn't still want to do a good job now and make it look as good as possible. So we did still go to a decent amount of work to try and blend the new concrete into the old as seamlessly as possible. So, quick updates. We flew through those 15 bags of concrete so fast. It went so much better with this. Where's that thing? It's gone. Where is it? Did I lose the auger? Well, for real, where did it go? Oh my God. Okay, friends, quick update because we are taking a little bit of a pause because we're out of concrete. We flew through that first batch of concrete that we got this morning. That auger bit, really efficient. Definite improvement over the technique from yesterday. So Phil is going and getting another round of concrete bags. There's going to be 15 more in that order. One, because that's all that my poor little Toyota can handle with its suspension, and also because it's going to be the third load of 15 that we take. And when we originally did all of our calculations, that's how many we calculated we would need. So I'm putting it on the record that when we did our measurements, we came up with 45 bags. So stay tuned to see if that is going to be accurate. Spoiler, I think we're going to be within a bag or two. So leave your comments down below if you think that we're going to be on or if we're going to need to run back to the hardware store a fourth time to finish this project. But speaking of finishing this project, I think it's going to happen today. So as soon as Phil gets back, we're going to get back to mixing concrete, and hopefully by the end of the day, we're going to be able to check off an item from our list. I will say that while this new technique is significantly improved, it has one downside, and that is that it takes a significant toll on the batteries for the drill. So do not recommend if you don't have a bunch of spare batteries, or even better, just use a drill with a cord, like a good old-fashioned corded drill. Oh, getting dark. Signing off. Bye.
Nom, 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 nom.
Is it gonna be enough?
Nope.
Damn it.
Absolutely not.
So in the end, did we guess correctly? Did we get the right amount of concrete for the job? Well, we did pretty good. We were off by 4 bags, which, you know, that's basically within a 10% margin of error. So I'm calling it not perfect, but pretty darn good.
So about here, let's put her back paw on the ground.
Okay, thank you.
Bonne fille. Oui, oui, c'est bonne fille.
Okay, I'm gonna give her kibble.
Ouais.
And she's gonna want to go towards the kibble.
Yeah, okay. Deux pattes ou une patte?
Deux.
Deux. Hein? Ok.
Reste.
Bonne fille. Reste.
Hi, Choco Choco. Rest. Good dog. Oh, okay, I'll go wash her.
Faut que tu pèses fort, peut-être que t'appuies sur tes...
Nice. Immortalized forever.
Yeah.
Now, I thought that I was going to have to wrap up yet another video without any reveal shots because, once again, they were all lost with my phone. But in this case, I have great news because the patrons came to the rescue. I found some really good footage from one of my monthly vlogs, so I thought this was a perfect time to do a small shout out for my Patreon. I do monthly real-time vlogs detailing where the house is at, so if you're impatient and you don't want the full year of delay of the public videos here on YouTube, then you can head on over to the Patreon, see where the house is at in real time. The link is in the description of all of my videos, but enough about that for now. Let's take a look at the finished drain. Here we get a better look at it. This is all French drain in here. Now in these clips, the concrete is still in the process of curing, so it does look a little bit mottled, but I can tell you that the colors became much more uniform once it was fully cured. But regardless, here it is completely finished, and that means we can check that one off the list. So the current concrete mixing plan is, Phil's making lots of noise.